Okay, next thing we want to do is give you some feedback on the first practical challenges you did. First of all, we were very impressed by the quality of all the assignments you uploaded yesterday. As you can see, many of you uploaded already. You took a broad perspective on the problem, and that's good. And we saw many different types of visualizations, which we will show you now. So that was very nice to see. So the assignment was to define the actors, the human actors and the non-human actors that you saw in the video about the two different orthopedic patients. Then to define more actors, non-human and human, that you could think of yourself, and then map all the actors on paper and define all the interdependencies between the different actors. And we want to show you some of the examples to give you an idea how these interdependencies should be defined and what kind of actors and human and non-human actors your colleague students thought about.
Yeah, I think, as you already mentioned, for this stage it's important to be very broad. Include all the actors in such a way that you pretty sure that you cover a broad range of the things that the patient is interacting with.
Yeah.
For example, in one of the example movies was the bus driver and the bus, and that is a typical example. I think the bus driver is the human actor and the bus itself is the non-human actor.
Yeah, you see many examples of actors that you can think of: a surgeon, anesthesist, and they have the dependency towards the patient, of course, that they operate. Then they give the anesthesia. Many actors can have different interdependencies. So the surgeon, of course, not only operating the patient but also defining the treatment for the patient. But you can also think of family members who provide assistance. Also think further, for example, e-health solutions that they are using at home. E-health to inform their informal caregivers, to set up a care network, solutions that help them to rehabilitate. It's also good to know the difference between an actor and a stakeholder. There was also some discussion about that on the discussion forum. So an actor is someone or something that actively contributes to the health process of the patient, while a stakeholder is a bit more distant. So it impacts the health process, but it doesn't directly actively influence it. So for example, insurance company, there was a lot of discussion about that. It's not always an actor. It's only an actor when it actively contributes. And to be honest, I also did the different questions in Module 1. I thought that an insurance company is always an actor. So there you see that it's also not black and white. There's also some discussion about what is what.
Yeah, and I think also you have to think, you consider the healthcare system of also the different countries will also have influence this. And maybe something about the interdependencies, to try to describe them specifically as you can, because you also need the interdependencies when you're filling in the next week's the patient experience journey. The touch points that you have to define, those are also related to the interdependencies, so make them explicit.
Yeah. And some examples of how you can visualize your your overview of actors and interdependencies. You can do it, for example, by using icons, as you can see here. Here it's more with circles and names and the interdependencies, which can be both ways. So it can be an influence on the patient, but also the other way around. The patient can influence the actor.
That one.
Yeah. You can do it textual, and of course this is an example of a textual overview of actors. It's complete and it's very elaborate, But as you can here already see, it doesn't directly give an impression of how complex the system is that you are designing for. So we strongly advise to make your insights as visual as suits you. This is another example where the actors are visualized by circles with names in it, and the circles overlap a bit, and in this way the interdependencies are visualized.
Yeah. But also drawings like this is possible.
You can also draw it yourself, of course. Yeah. One example that we also wanted to show you is an example of child oncology. So when you think of, when you need to define all the different actors, it can help to cluster the different actors in kind of teams, you could say, of the kind of different goals they have towards the patient. For example, here you see different teams like the educational team, medical team, psychological team. And it helps you to think of whether you are complete, whether you have defined all the actors that are that you can think of. Well, thank you very much for your good work, and we are really looking forward to see your challenges for next week.
Yeah, see you next week. Bye.